Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?
Wasn't me, Coach. Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Get off our lawn.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card, where dolphins are waxed and dogs are treated gently.
The pewter is polished.
And the pewter is polished. Yes, all those great things. We are going to talk about Camp Ham Sandwich on this show. I thought we'd leave the cupcakes alone for now. I like cupcakes.
Yeah, that's very much more of a winter thing.
Whereas a ham
during
sandwich,
spring and everything.
ham sandwich is just something you eat because, you're hungry and it's all you got. Some cheap ass ham on some cheap ass Wonder Bread. That's what we're talking about here. The picture I had lettuce in it. I don't know. I don't think that's a requirement. You probably don't need lettuce or cheese, just ham and bread. Now, if it's good German Black Forest ham, then we're talking about a whole different scenario. But I'm talking about that cheap ass shit that you can buy at freaking Walmart and Kroger.
Does boar's head count as good shit?
No, that's good shit.
There you go.
I'm talking about that shit in the plastic things where you open them up and it's just like a big old slab comes out. Yeah, it's gross. All right, the turn in the background says, "Welcome back to the Straight Red Card. Camp Ham Sandwich roster is here. Only the ham is Canadian bacon. The cheese is moldy. The mustard has been replaced with mayo. I can't wait." All right. Yeah, we're going to go through this whole thing because it's a little crazy. I do have to bring up, I don't know if this came up in your feed, Brett, today, but this Denise Frazier chick was all over the news for the past 2 days. She's a big time TikTok gal or something, and she TikToked herself having sex with her dog.
I saw the article, yes.
And
I didn't read the article.
She got arrested. I guess she's in Mississippi.
Well, she's clearly not in Spain where that's legal.
Yeah, well, because it is legal in some countries, isn't it? Didn't Spain just make it legal?
They just approved it. Yeah, you're allowed to do it as long as you get consent from the dog first.
I don't know how the dog gives consent unless he's just got a raging boner, and I guess that's consent.
Red rocket.
Well, as it's been described to me, it wasn't really anything. I mean, if you read the articles, it's like the police chief's like, "It's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen." You're like, dude, have you been on the internet? Because there's a lot more disgusting things on the fucking internet.
It is pretty fucking disgusting, though.
I mean, it's not great. I agree. But it wouldn't shock me. I wouldn't be like, "Oh my God, this is the worst thing I've ever seen."
Wouldn't you hate to be like her next boyfriend and say, "Yeah, my ex was bigger"?
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen the video, so I don't know how big the dog was.
But it would still suck regardless.
I don't know how hung the dog was. I just think it's weird, and that made such gigantic news, unlike major, like it was on my Yahoo feed. It was on the Microsoft fucking news feed. It was on, what's the other one I get? Anyhow, I was just shocked. I'm like, this is coming up on every single feed. All right, I'm clicking on it because now I want to know what the fuck's going on with this. Who is this? Is she a actress that I don't know about? Why is this big news? I guess it's just because she's a big time TikTok gal. Jesse Marsh. I like this roster over the first team roster. A lot of quality and energy in that midfield. Amazing what Hudson is doing. Oh, Jesse, you should go back to being Greg. Greg Berhalter's puppy. The roster is a disgrace. What do you mean? Oh, yeah, because of the dog thing, yeah. I mean, I should know because people have been talking about it all over Twitter for the last few days. And then even on Pete's show, they were talking about it on the side of the comments. And I just thought it was funny. I mean, Pete's, it was Tax Show too. Tax Show as well. And Tack read it. One of the comments was a super chat. So we did read it. It was kind of funny to see.
So I wanted to bring this up because it might not be as funny later since we brought up, since Berhalter's puppy was in the chat.
Yeah. Soccer Dad said.
Start with Miazga first.
U.S. Soccer Plus. Matt Miazga returning to U.S. men's national team. I told you guys last time I was screwed over multiple times in the past. Yeah, I think it is what it is. I always felt like I should be part of the group throughout my career, especially the last few years. Well, he's not holding back, is he?
No, I'd like to see more punches thrown and see what happens.
Matt not pulling any punches, but blaming others instead of himself, his agent, for making a bad decision to get into a loan army and never play 2 seasons in the same place is a bit rich. Sure, he probably should have got another shot, but he carries most of the blame for that. I would agree partially he is to blame. I'd say it's a big chunk, actually. I think that move was bad. I don't think that move worked out. There's a big quote up here on what am I watching? I shouldn't even say what I'm watching, so then people will go watch it. But it's a quote on not including Zach Steffen. Part of it was looking at the players that we have and exactly the roles that they would fill at the World Cup. We feel confident that we have 3 really good goalkeepers in the hierarchy in the goalkeeper line, and I think it's set pretty well. We've read that before, so this is – I don't know why they're covering this now. But they did ask Zach Steffen, by the way, recently if he talked to Greg since not making the team. Why should he talk to Greg since not making the World Cup team? Can't figure it out. And by the way, Matt Miazga butted heads with Greg, and you know how Greg feels about that. Well, apparently, it doesn't bother, our new guy, right? He's not bothered by that, and this is good news. So,
I heard Miazga got Hudson's dog a nice Easter basket. Somebody actually sent that.
I know, and I replied to it and said, well, I hope they took the chocolate bunnies out of it because you kill the dogs at this point. Because chocolate is poison to dogs if you don't get that joke. It is. Dogs can't eat chocolate. It will kill them or make them extremely sick. The sad reality is that Matt kicked Greg's dog. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it, right? Well, there was this really pissed off guy in Tax Feed who's like, so what you're saying is that Matt Miazga assaulted a dog? Is that what we're saying here? He was like... It was just like they couldn't believe that people were having a good time talking about that. Well, it's a joke. It's not true.
Soccer Dad apparently doesn't watch our show, but I like Soccer Dad. He follows us and everything on Twitter. Not sure if he catches our show because he doesn't quite grasp it. He says nobody knows any such thing. It just fits the narrative that some people like to spin about Berhalter. So then L. Duke says, it's an inside joke. Tune into the straight red card.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been around for a while, and you would think most people would know that that's just a joke at this point, and an inside one at that. So,
real quick before we move on too much further.
Yeah.
Bogus. I have to reshare. All right, look away, Derek.
Oh.
You looking away? I can't see right now. Okay, now I can see you. All right, we got to do bingo cards, and anybody who wants to cheat can take the one with bestiality because we've already talked about that.
Excellent to know that there's a card.
Yeah, that one right there has a dog kicking it. That was a pretty much guarantee run.
Oh, man. Somebody's already got a head start.
Yeah. All right, and you can look.
All right. Okay. George G, thank you for the $1.99. Sir, is Greg's dog the same dog from the TikTok? No, it is not. No, it is not, George, but thank you for inquiring. Inquiring minds do want to know. Legit did it. Legit did something. But we're not quite sure what that is.
It's funny that I brought that up as well when replying to Soccer Dad. Actually, rumor has it that Miazga was set up by Legit. These are just rumors, of course. That was the talk whenever Legit got let off. We talked about how Berhalter got video evidence that it wasn't actually Miazga who kicked the dog. It was actually Legit.
Twisted the plot, as they say.
By the way, George, thanks for that $1.09. I appreciate it, man.
No, we do appreciate it. Did you see? I don't know if you've seen the commercials that are coming up here on YouTube and actually on TV quite a bit. It's the new TurboTax commercials, and
I don't have TV. I can't tell you.
All shit's about mountain climbing. What does fucking TurboTax and mountain climbing have anything to do with one another? Absolutely not.
Do you think they constantly do the taxes for yellow boots?
Yeah, well, no, not since 1994. or whenever it was that he perished up there.
Do you think the family gets any form of benefit? Not benefits, but some kind of payment from all the photos that people take next to Yellow Boots?
No, they don't. In fact, I don't think they've ever been able to track down his family. And for many years, nobody knew who he was. Actually, it's just still a theory of who he was. We're really not quite 100% sure who Yellow Boots is.
Isn't it allegedly from Bloomington?
No.
Did you say he was a Bloomington guy?
No. He's, I think he's Indian. Yeah. So anyhow, I don't think he's up there anymore. I think they dragged him out, and they finally sent him. I guess maybe they did locate.
I feel bad for the Sherpas now, man, because usually they'd be like, "All right, we're going to camp next to Yellow Boots over here. This is a great indication because it's going to be another day before we hit the peak."
Nope, but they did use him as a marker on
exactly,
Everest. But they didn't camp near him. They just said, "Okay, this means we've got like 2 hours to go to hit." They're
hiking up. They're like, and if you look to your left, you'll see Yellow Boots.
It's to the right, actually.
Whatever, fuck off. We told him not to
on the
stop
left
here.
On the way down, though.
He said he was tired.
Yes. And then he just froze to death in front of everybody. That was horrible. So anyhow, Camp Hand Sandwich. Before we get to that, I know we have some other topics to cover.
Yeah, it's like 40 minutes in the future, Derek.
Well, let's not go crazy here.
I've got some suspension news.
Okay.
They all came across ESPN today, so they're hot off the presses. It's not transfer news. Calm down.
Ref avoids ban for alleged elbow. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no big deal.
They should have banned Robertson. How about that?
I mean, that's an idea.
Don't fuck with the refs. Go away.
It's an idea.
Keep your hands behind your back. Yard distance between them, and you can talk. I don't care.
He did make a big to-do of it, but the referee apparently apologized. Now, I don't know how he apologized, but apparently he may have called him or whatever. And it kind of like, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, you're a giant pussy.
I'm sorry I accidentally hit you in the lip with my arm or whatever happened really there. Because he was just like, get off me. And it just hit him in the face. Get off me. And he hit him in the face. It's just like an accident. It's not a big deal. He didn't mean to do it. He wasn't like, I'm going to smack that bitch. And then he walked by him and hit him in the face. That's not what happened.
Do you think fans who dislike Liverpool sent that ref, gift baskets and gift cards and, spa retreats and stuff like that?
No, because he didn't succeed in either injuring Robertson.
Clipped him,
He didn't really injure him. So you can't send him a thank you card.
I feel like you'd probably get at least a game suspension if you actually injured him.
Yeah, I don't think so. Anyhow, this story's a big nothing burger. It's not a ham sandwich, but it's pretty close to a big nothing burger.
Nothing burgers. Nice.
Yep. All right.
Here's the second news of suspensions.
Oh, good old Dante. So yeah, Dante came out, didn't explain himself at all or what he actually really said. Which a lot of people would still want to know because we want to know what did he exactly say, because it seems to me we could learn something from the experience if he told us what he said and how he said it and to whom he said it. But we don't know any of that, and Taylor Twellman doesn't care. So Taylor Twellman said, who cares? He already admitted he did it. Well, I think we could learn from it if we knew what happened, what was said, the circumstances, and why it's unacceptable. But if we're not willing to talk about it, then the next dude is not, going to say something, slip out of his mouth and say something stupid.
Well, we were talking about this last show, and you said that, and other people are also followed up and said that that depends on the context and stuff like that, correct?
Yes.
So I mean, they're like, hey, did you say this? And he's like, yeah.
No,
there you go, suspension.
Context is important for everything in life, but in this particular case, him using the Dutch word, which sounds a lot like the American word, still would have been inappropriate, because even in Holland, that word A is not acceptable anymore for the most part, and B, he was using it to call out somebody for their race in a soccer game. For what? That's like, hey, Asian guy. Why would you do that in a game? I don't understand. Then you can, I mean, add whatever, horrible thing you can say about Asian people in there.
I feel like you get away with just saying Asian guy. Now,
yes,
if you
I know.
Like Oriental or something like that, that'd be the problem.
Oriental is a rug. It's not a person. All right?
Yeah. Well, come on now.
No, seriously.
Oh, no, I know what you're saying. I'm just saying.
Right. So what I'm saying is I'm not going to say anything horrible here as an example. And I don't need to know the exact words that he said. You
weren't canceled last show. You won't be canceled this show.
You could use little stars where he uses the inappropriate word, but I want to know the context of why he said it and what for. And was it out of anger? Was it because it just came out of his mouth because he's an idiot? I want to know. And I think we need to know that kind of thing. So going forward, players can understand, other players, what's unacceptable. Like two guys getting each other's face and calling each other names, that's different. As long as those names are within acceptable boundaries, like talking about their moms or whatever, within acceptable boundaries. But what is the difference between shit talking and crossing the line? And that's where we need to start identifying some of those things. Because there was a time and day. What other terms are outdated, Derek? Yeah, I'm not going to go there because we all know what they are for the most part. And so, yeah, he suspends. He came out and he admitted he did it. And so he's got 6 games to sit on his tush and think about it. It'd probably been worse if he had come out and used that excuse. And it was Adams, the Australian or New Zealand basketball player, who called somebody an animal of a certain type in basketball and didn't know that we don't say that here in the United States. And he's
kangaroo, right?
No.
Oh.
And he's like, oh, well, we call everybody that where I'm from. That's a common thing to say. And they're like, well, not here. We don't say that here, Mr. Adams. And I don't think Steven Adams is actually even suspended for any of that. That's right, what it was. Huh?
Koala.
So anyhow, in this case, Dante just didn't even try to play the Dutch card, which he probably could have played, but he didn't. He just said, I'm sure his people there and his agent and his advisors and the coach were all like, hey, dude, just suck it up. Say you're sorry, apologize, take it like a man, take your suspension, and we're going to get past this. If you try to fight it or you try to make excuses, it's just going to look worse. So there you go. That's where we're at.
I see. All right, Derek. This is time of show where we talk about your favorite topic. Just kidding. No transfer news today, guys.
No transfer news. Oh, good. Nice to hear.
We do have something very perplexing.
You sure there's nobody being monitored at all, Brett? No one's being monitored?
I'm certain there are people being monitored, Derek.
Nobody's keeping an eye on somebody? Keeping an eye on him, nope.
We're keeping an eye on Dest at this game. This will be the first game they get to watch him play in, I guess since the nation's game.
Yeah, that whole Dest story is so pathetic, dude. There's something really, really wrong. And then you get the tidbits out of Milan. The dude's the jackass in practice, doesn't give his all, thinks he's super special. By the way, I really did like Pete's lineup, his starting 11 for the next game, because he plays Dest as a right winger. And I think that'd be a really cool thing to see. So, Derek Straight Topic. Dwarf porn. I don't think I've ever referenced dwarf porn here, have I? I'm not really into that. If I were, I would probably happily admit it. But I'm not. I don't really see a lot of that. Is that a normal thing? Dwarf porn?
Yes. Actually, yes, it is.
I've never looked it up before. Sorry. So I've barely seen
are you saying you didn't see that? That's wrong.
The only ones I've seen are the classical joke remakes of Snow White. I think the classic old Snow White porn movie had dwarves in it. That was a long time ago. That was in the 80s, I think. That's the only one I can really remember. I may have seen one or two. I no offense to dwarfs, but I just think the dimensions there are a little off for me. And it's
so you want them to stand on each other's shoulders. What you're saying, right?
No, they're just built in a different. They're built in a way that to me is not exciting. They're proportioned in a different way, and there's nothing wrong with that. They were born that way. There's nothing they can do with it, but it doesn't mean I have to jerk off to it. Doesn't mean it.
You could try. You could try, Derek. Come on.
I'm not going to try. All right. That's not
like, fine. I'll Google dwarf porn after the show. It makes you happy.
That's not how this works. What happens is you have your interest areas, and that's where you direct your interest, right? And that's how you eventually there's a finality to the activity. Otherwise, trying just sounds like, I don't know, kind of slapping around a flaccid cucumber. All right, Tom, the good old dwarf and donkey show. I don't know that one either. I've seen a donkey show before, but that was like in
stepladder needed on that one.
No, it was in the early 2000s. Not in person. I didn't see it. I saw it on the interwebs. I had a weird friend who used to always send me shocking videos until I finally told him to stop. Because one of the ones he sent me was some guy putting C4 in his mouth and having it blow up his face. Yeah, I don't want to see that, you dick. I fucking called him. I said, don't you ever fucking send me shit like that again, you fucking weirdo. All right, and he never did. Thank God. Who knows what good shit I missed.
Here's maybe what gets your rocks going, man. Maybe faces blowing up is your thing.
No, he's just like one of those guys that's like shocking stuff, right? It's like I'm not into the same shocking crap you're in because the internet webs were new back then. Remember, Brett? And
it was a wild, wild west, yeah.
Yeah, and so whenever he'd find something crazy, he'd send it to me. I'm like, after a while, I'm like, dude, okay, I get it. I need to get on the internet more. This is crazy, but that one you just sent me,
Derek,
I am
become done. Desensitized.
I am done.
You must desensitize yourself. Yeah.
Don't send me shit with people blowing their heads off. That I do not want to fucking see. So anyhow, he never sent me anything else again, which is fine.
That was nice of him.
I mean, I figured out how to find out my things I wanted myself anyhow. All right, where else?
Speaking of other things you were offended by, Derek, you were also offended by the USSF's most recent social media blunder.
No, I wasn't. Because I don't understand.
I didn't even realize it was that big of a thing. I mean,
my knowledge of hip hop culture stops at about the Wu-Tang Clan. Okay, that's when I stopped listening. So all of you
don't know what we're talking about. We're talking about U.S. Soccer's Becky with the good hair email.
All these references to Jay-Z and Beyonce are way over my head. Way over my head. I don't understand what they are. I have no idea. I read the article and still had no fucking clue what the fuck they were talking about. So at this point, all I can say is that U.S. Soccer had to make an apology for it. So they must have done something dumb, but I'm just too stupid to figure it out because I don't get what they said. I don't understand it. And that's fine. I don't need to understand it because I tried. I read 2 articles. One of them got really deep into racism and the history of black hair
one did.
And all that.
Yes, this Yahoo Sports article did.
And that I know about. Of course I know about that. I'm a fucking history
How is
kid.
it correlated is my question. I don't know enough about this shit.
But I was trying to figure out how it exactly correlated into the then and what the now. I know how it correlated then. I'm just trying to figure out how it correlates into some chick that Jay-Z was cheating on Beyonce with. And that I don't get.
I'll come back to your comment here. So apparently we're not the only ones that don't know about this. Other people are like, what the hell are we talking about?
Well, so let's put up the post that they posted, the U.S. Soccer post.
Real quick, El Nini says, what's Derek's OnlyFans link?
It is a Derek
Derek's
B.I.
third leg.
Yeah, that's very close. It's actually Derek's BIGDICK.org. It's a nonprofit.
It's a nonprofit OnlyFans. All proceeds go to pay to help out other people who have too long of wings and don't know how to deal with it, right?
No, actually, it goes to people with incredibly small wings who need help.
That's nice of you.
Yeah, I'm thoughtful.
Giving back to the little people. Full circle.
All right. Okay. All right.
All right.
So Becky with the good hair. Yeah, I know that's a reference to some Beyonce song.
I found that out just by reading this article. I didn't even know that prior to this.
But his point, the guy that wrote this article, is like, hey, if the fucking U.S. soccer wasn't so goddamn white, they would have known this was inappropriate. But since they're so fucking white, they're so lily goddamn white, they didn't know. Yeah, first the Iran flag thing, and that wasn't even the first thing. It's the second. That was like the second or third oopsie. This is the fourth oopsie, right? And I can't figure out the oopsie part of it, but obviously it was an oopsie because they apologized.
I don't know either. Yeah,
they apologized.
So let's go back down here. All right, here we go. Starting with this, Derek. Do you want to read?
To celebrate defender and team captain Becky Sauerbrun's 200 appearances for the women's national team, U.S. Soccer sent a marketing email to possibly millions of people with the subject line. I doubt millions.
Millions? Come on. Come on. What? maybe millions once they forward it on to their friends.
Yeah,
like, you
exactly.
understand this shit?
To thousands of people. Celebrate Becky with the good hair. It was a play off the Beyonce lyric in her 2016 Lemonade album. Is that a reference to the
because if they give you lemons, make lemonade.
No, golden showers. All right.
Yeah. That's most of what Beyonce's lyrics are going towards is the golden shower and that type of topics. Yeah.
Okay.
I bet you didn't know that.
More things I'm learning today. In no universe is this a compliment. No matter the hair type, the woman she refers to is thought to be someone Jay-Z had an affair with. Okay, but that could be a very good-looking person. Sauerbrunn had nothing to do with the email. Well, of course not. Which U.S. Soccer made clear in the follow-up apology. U.S. Soccer apologizes for the subject line of our email sent this morning to celebrate Becky Sauerbrunn's hair 200th cap. It read, it was insensitive and should not have been sent. We have connected with Becky and apologized. We also reviewed our approval process for external marketing. That should have happened like 7-8 years ago. Communications and are committed to being more thoughtful in the future. What a fucking gaggle of fucking morons. Oh my God.
Let's talk a moment about black hair.
Yeah, I understand
that. She's got blonde hair, though. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, that was the topic of the race talk at the top was about the blonde versus black people's hair back in the 1700s.
I know what the history is, and I get it.
I don't know how correlated.
But I don't think people. I mean, I think that opinion has incredibly changed since.
Chad, I think here's
in my lifetime, it's changed dramatically. I mean, not dramatically. We all wanted to have a fro.
Yeah.
I know I did. I don't know.
My
brother had one.
I even told Derek when as the show was starting, like, I still have no idea what this fucking article's about or what the offense is given. But we're going to rely on the chat. The chat will have us. In the chat sitting here, I have no idea what the fuck you guys are talking about. Well, so I'm glad that we're all on the same page and that there may have only been like a handful of email responses like, this is offensive. I'm like, I have no idea why it's offensive. Somebody educate us. I don't know.
I don't think it's clear enough to be offensive. It might be offensive to Beyonce. Maybe she takes it personally because it's a reference to some chick who cheated on her with her husband. But the historical reference is sort of a deeper dive to get into. Like, you really have to understand the lyrics and what the lyrics are in reference to, and then take the dive deeper into the history, which may or may not directly correlate with the lyrics. So it's, I don't know, it's a twisty road. Yeah, I don't know, Nate. By the way, that Nate character on Ted Lasso, that dude is a dick, and I don't understand why it took him so long to figure out he was a piece of shit.
So I know you're ahead of us. We haven't started the season 3 yet. We just finished season 2 again. And we're going to start season 3 here before too long. We're in no immediate rush to. First off, does Apple release it episodically? It's like weekly? Or do they do the binge method?
Yeah, I don't know. I know The Mandalorian is weekly. It's every Wednesday. But
yeah, that's Disney, though. Most streaming services are episodical because there's no way that they would ever survive long term if they just released everything. Because everybody would just, if they released Ted Lasso, everybody would have Apple TV for 1 month and then cancel immediately. They don't have enough. They don't have enough content to do that. Whereas Netflix has all the content in the world, not their own content, although that's growing. But they have all the other content that they pay for, and they have the subscriber count to back it up. So, okay. So yeah, apparently it's episodic. It's weekly.
Okay, good.
So
let's move on to the next topico.
Hold on. Here we go. Kevin may have gotten us hooked up here.
Beck with the good hair was a white girl. Oh, okay. Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce with, and Beyonce's lyric implies that people think white women are more attractive. White women are more attractive than black women. Okay. I think Beyonce would be a good example of how that's not true. I could name many others too, but we don't need to get into it. Make this a pissing contest.
So there's
between white women and black women.
Bill Burr has a quote in there where he talks about the difference between men and women when it comes to having sex with the opposite sex, and since that men are programmed to have, he's like men are programmed to have sex with 85% of the women in this audience. You know, basically meaning that I bet you anything Jay-Z. I'm guessing Beck was probably just an attractive white lady that he's like, wow, I'll have sex with her. Why not? Not necessarily saying like, yeah, I find her more attractive than Beyonce, but I don't know. Maybe he did. Fuck it.
I'll be really honest.
I think this is a lot of hoopla over nothing, quite frankly.
I had a black girlfriend in high school. Her name was Tracy Hyde. Oh, I probably shouldn't have used her name. Anyhow, it doesn't matter.
That motherfucker.
I'm sure she doesn't care. But yeah, I mean, we saw each other in high school. It went on. Actually, she went to Purdue. I went to Indiana. And I can tell you, well, okay, let me put it this way. Most of my friends at the end of my senior year were black. Let's just put it that way. I was into hip hop, and that's just how I rolled. But I didn't really think about it that way. I was obviously, you know, that she was black, but that never really crossed my mind. I didn't think it was anything that odd, and I was just attracted to her. That's all there was to it.
Not gonna lie, Derek, I expected you to say something borderline racist because that reached into the realms of like, I've got black friends. I'm not racist. I got black friends.
I mean, I don't have as many anymore. But
no.
You know, but I don't have many.
It's an internet thing right now.
No, I get it.
You'll say something like that's borderline racist. They get called out and like, no, I'm not. I've got black friends.
I mean, I just don't have a whole lot of friends. So there you go.
That's my thing. I've got a very select small group of friends.
Yeah,
I don't have the time or the effort to really hang out with everybody.
I don't either. I mean, when I was 30, I had tons of fucking friends. I had so many friends. I was fucking like, leave me alone, kind of shit, you know. But then you get married and you have a family, and you know you lose touch with a lot of those guys. And now at my age, I don't want to be hanging out, fucking with a lot of people, going to anything. I just like coming home, sitting on my ass, watching soccer. And that's it. I had my chance to party, and God damn it, I did it, and I'm done with it. All right, now I party by myself.
It's just funny that we went from the drama of Berhalter and Reina, GeoGate, to Becky with the good hair.
Yeah,
I feel like some people look at us and our community, our circle of peeps. And they say, "Oh, they're hate clicks, you know. They just do stuff for the hate and clicks and blah blah." But then this shit happens. I'm like, I feel like we're just grasping at straws to be pissed at something. But this was as you mentioned earlier. This is a nothing burger.
Yeah, it's a nothing burger, and I don't get it really. I mean, we've talked about this before. I don't really get that upset about anything. It just looks like I do, and that's fine. That's how I am. I'm kind of loud. All right, but most of the time we just come on here and have a good time. And try not to get too much embroiled in anything too serious. Although, when you guys ask serious questions, we'll give you serious answers. Usually. All right.
We got Berlin's in the chat, so let's talk about his contribution to the show here.
All right. Berlin has a contribution.
Yeah. So let me. I guess let me skip over and do this. Derek, everybody's favorite part of the show is when you read German, so go for it.
So what this is basically saying is this dude is the new director of football for Ajax. It's not really that complicated. And his name is Michelinstadt. I don't know that guy. I don't know him. But I don't know a whole lot about him. But apparently he's really good friends with our good friend Pellegrino Matarazzo, right? And so Berlin says this is the biggest potential U.S. men's coaching move, not reported at all. Pellegrino and this Missenstadt are hardcore bros. Sorry. Gino Pellegrino will be the first U.S. men's national team Champions League coach with Ajax. Yeah, I'm guessing that's a few years down the road is what he's probably thinking, right? This is a huge move. Congratulations. My money is on Ajax in a couple of years. Yeah, okay. That makes more sense. By the way, also great news for Matarazzo. So that's okay. We've gotten back. We're kind of circling back to the beginning. He was Dortmund, then Stuttgart. Okay. Yeah, I don't know this guy very well. I don't remember him at Dortmund at all, but maybe Pulisic wasn't at Dortmund yet. Because I didn't really start watching a lot of Dortmund until, well, there was a time when I was watching it when we had a chance to have one of their center backs play on the U.S. men's national team, and that didn't work out very well. And then I started watching when Pulisic got there. So
he's responsible for Dortmund's youth development. He was also the sporting director at Everton and at Dortmund too.
Oh, sweet ass. Okay, nice. Did not know this guy. So thanks for the info. And maybe that will be good news for Matarazzo as long as he can continue to, pull off miracles. If he can pull off this one with Hoffenheim, that'll be a good start for maybe a couple more years at Hoffenheim and maybe some success. But I do think that at some point Matarazzo is going to have to do better, and maybe that's why he would make that move to Ajax because you're talking about teams. Well, Hoffenheim has spent money in the past. But a team like Stuttgart, I mean, that was just an anchor. He was never going to get super good players there. So it's actually probably a favor to him to not be there anymore because it looks like they're going to drop as well. So
let's see, just going over a couple more things here real quick on the chat. He was the highest regarded youth director in Germany for 2 decades.
Yep.
His claim to fame was Lewandowski.
Okay, so he's been around the block for a while. Good to know. Thank you for that heads up. I like those kind of interconnections because when Matarazzo in 2 or 3 years does take that Ajax job, we'll already know why.
Yeah.
All right. Tonight I am once again drinking the Victory Berry Monkey Triple Belgian. It's very gentle on the berry. I know it says berry, and you're like, oh, that's probably gross, but it's very gentle. It's kind of like Omegang's Three Philosophers that has the dark cherry hints in it. It's not like in your face. It's just in there a little bit. All right. Not your face. I recommend it. I recommend this. So, and high alcohol content. It is, let's see here. Well, usually they make that really, really easy to find. All right, next topic.
Here you go. Got one pull up for you.
You guys never have to pee during the stream? Yes, we do.
We do a great job of hiding it.
Oh, my God.
Once we end the broadcast, we're both bolting out.
We both run to the bathroom, and then we come back and talk about the show because, we can't obviously do that during the show, but no alcohol percentage.
I got a pee bucket right under my desk.
I just have a hose attached to my penis, and it goes down here around the corner and right into the toilet. So I just let it rip from here. All right. What do we got?
You're sitting at a higher elevation than the toilet, so you rely on gravity to take care of most of the effort there.
No, I bought a pump.
Oh, okay.
That's why
is it a Swedish pump? Swedish penis pump?
Not sure where it was built. All right, what do we got?
Mine, babe. It's not in my bag.
40 minutes in, I think we can almost start talking about.
We got other things to talk about here.
All right. Oh, we got more.
And this is going to lead into one of the articles you gave me. So let's talk about that.
Let's do it.
Talk about that. Because I want to pull this up before we get to the article because we only want to talk about one part of it here.
Okay. The legend of the rooftop barbecue has now been acknowledged by mainstream media. How it this is the one.
This is the same article you pulled me. We're going to talk about. We'll pull up the article here in just a second, but they talk about the rooftop barbecue buzzed past midnight, which they talk about that as the end of the World Cup thing. So I don't know if the timelines really match here, but maybe there's multiple rooftop barbecues. I don't know. But
well, they might have had more than one.
I mentioned how this is ridiculous, right? This is nonsense. I've been told by many people many times that this is balderdash, pure poppycock, malarkey.
Mm-hmm.
There's some other good words to describe it. We had some people respond. Oh.
McClunky. I like that.
Yeah. There's
which part of it do you disagree with?
No, I don't disagree with anything. I've been told there was no barbecue. That Diego is QAnon, and then watch it.
Oh, there was no barbecue. That's correct. We were told there was no barbecue, right? And this article by Henry Bushnell, who, by the way, Henry's a really good writer.
Chris disagrees.
He's a little tricky because he writes in a very stoic manner. It's a very matter-of-fact, but almost clinical writing style that you really haven't seen since like maybe the 80s or 90s. Like people don't write like this anymore. And it is because most people in the new generation would find this incredibly boring to read.
Well, there you go. That works nice with Chris Harry says the article put him to sleep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But what got me, I was honestly surprised by the content of the actual article itself, that he managed to type out an article while jerking Berhalter off and fingering him in the ass. How did that work? I don't know. It was a voice to text speech or something.
Listen,
I don't know, man, because I mean, at least the first half of this article is nothing but a ginormous fluff for Berhalter.
So we don't have to read a lot of it. Let me break it down. Basically, what Henry does here is take us on a journey. Greg's journey. His journey in his aspirations towards becoming a great leader, right? And in it, he befriends a certain buffoon from Harvard whose name is, can we find his name? Down in the article.
Oh.
Down in the article.
This guy right here?
No. Keep going. It's the superstar CEO, the Howins. There. No. Seidman.
CEOs.
Seidman.
Oh, right here.
Seidman.
Yeah.
Is that the first time he's mentioned in this article? That's really weird. Seidman. No, he must be mentioned because they would use his first name first. There it is. Dov. His name's Dov.
I just thought that was a typo.
I don't know. Listen, I've known lots of Jewish people in my life, and I've never met a Dov before.
Yeah.
Threw me for a loop.
Dan?
It might be short for something,
Dave.
Dovster Seidman. Anyhow, the whole article is about how he and Dov created this incredible bond as they explored the many depths of leadership, because Dov, by the way, was the guy who put together the Moral Leadership Conference, because Dov...
Immoral, right?
That's correct. The Immoral Leadership Conference, because Dov himself is an author of a book about the book called How is the name of the book, by the way. And it explores all of the ins and outs of how you can build an organization that shares a common mission, a common vision, common goals, right? Common mission, vision, values, goals. Whoa, that's like a new thing, I guess. And how you build a team of people who have shared values and a shared vision. And they do this by building a thing called consensus and using shared leadership. Oh my God, this is a new concept. This motherfucker from Harvard thinks it's a new concept. We've been talking about this shit forever. going back to building professional learning communities, which was actually sold from building learning communities, period, in business. So this is not a new concept. It's been around forever. We've all been talking about it. I used to do presentations on it. I was one of those fuckers. All right. I went to schools and helped and did presentations on helping them, leaders in the schools, principals, superintendents, learn how to build professional learning communities by building consensus on you basically, what does that mean, building consensus? That means when we talk about an organization's common values, that means they all agree on those values because guess what? They came up with them. So when they break one of the values, you said, hey, man, we all got together and we put this value system together. We have value statements, and you're breaking one of the major value statements you helped create. And so it holds people accountable. That's what all this is. This is nothing new. This guy that Greg has starry eyes for and it thinks is some fucking modern guru of leadership. That's one of the problems here. Like, if you're honestly being a leader or becoming a leader through reading dogmatic books about how to be a leader, well, half of the battle of being a leader is having sort of a natural ability to be a leader. You can only learn so much because otherwise it's going to become off very mechanical. And that's why Greg comes off as mechanical. He's not really a leader. That's not his thing, right? But he hoped through this process. And this whole article shapes Greg into this philosopher that he isn't, number one. So it does make you want to gag. I'm trying to sum it up the best I can for you. But it also makes you think that when he went to the Immoral Leadership Conference, there really was this pact that was had. All right, where everything said there was supposed to be secret.
Off the record, yeah.
Even though it was Dobbs organization that actually accidentally leaked that shit, right? And they still go on and they interview Dov and Berhalter, the two people they interview, or Harry interviews for this article, and neither of them could still explain what happened and why it slipped out. Like, still we just can't explain it. We still don't know what happened. Really? You haven't gone back and looked at that and figured out where the confusion was? Seriously. You can't even get that in the article?
We always share the minutes.
Oh, man. Anybody who comes off as a fucking leadership guru, run to the hills. Seriously. Run to the hills. So I wish he would just go away too, but this article is a plant. This article is a plant. This article is written for a reason. Somebody came up with an idea for this article, and it probably wasn't the author of the article, is what I'm saying. I believe that Saab talked to Mr. Bushnell about an idea for an article, and Harry bit. And he said, I bet you I can get you total access to Greg, and we can tell you exactly what happened in that period and how it all went down. Would you be up to writing it, Harry? Because I know you'll do a really good job. A really good stoic, distant, sort of, transparent eyeball in the sky sort of explanation of what happened. And you'll do it, make it look like you really are just telling a story and you're just giving people the facts, right? Yeah, well, it's what they tried to do. But if you read the article and you can not fall asleep reading it, like our friend, then I think you will realize that this article is really just as Brett said, a hand job and an ass fingering.
So it's like externally, the assumption is that Berhalter is now a long shot to be rehired, but they talk about him being prior to being potentially rehired, right?
Yes, and at some point, what they do say, and there's in another article as well, is that Greg, prior to the oopsie at the Immoral Leadership Conference, was actually very much going to be rehired.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much a given that was going to happen. But then you'll have guys like fucking Alexi Lawless come out and say, hey, well, that's not fair. That's not fair. He should be rehired because, darn it, that's not fair. Fuck it. Nothing's fair in life. All right, Alexi? Get over yourself. So anyhow, there you go. That's the article. It tries to paint Berhalter as a philosopher, soccer coach. It does that in not a very impressive way. If you know anything about Dov, his friend, and Dov's book, which is nothing original at all. Ever. Nothing, not a word in that book is original. I'm sorry, it's just not.
Mm-hmm.
And that this guy carries himself as the guy. Of course, he got his degrees from Harvard. So he's the guru of moral leadership in corporations and organizations. How he got there, I do not know. Because there are people before him that have done it better.
Oh, no, never mind. That's not what I thought it was. Never mind.
Yeah.
That was from Dob talking about that. Yeah. I mean, this is a long fucking fluff piece.
Yeah, you could barely get through it yourself.
They taught me. I got through the first part up until right about here, and I was like, all right, that's enough for me to know what's happening here. Eventually, they just start talking about the actual story itself, and they go into it. But it's just
listen.
Oh my god!
Scroll back up to that headline part again, where it says significance. Not that headline, the subheadline that you were just on. A 21st century coach on a journey of significance, and he's got quotations around it because that's the kind of shit that Greg was thinking in his head. He's a 21st century coach. What the fuck does that even mean? What does that mean? Who fucking cares what century it is, you fucking idiot? Like, somehow you're better than the last century's coach? Or you're better than people from the last century? Well, maybe some of them you are, but not all of them. I seriously doubt you're smarter than most of them. And this journey of significance. Listen, it's all meaningless in the end. You're here to have a good time because there ain't much after this. But, you know, having this journey of significance, there's no such thing because significance is fleeting. It might be significant for a second, but it ain't going to be significant forever. All right? So you're here to have a good time. You are here to make people happy and yourself happy. And you're here to treat people like nice, decently, and with respect. But this whole idea that you're going to take a journey of significance, well, I can tell you what, when the sun burns up into a raisin and we're all dead, no one's going to care about this fucking significance. Okay, so this should never come out in public. Something like this, also like his, I want to change the way the world views American soccer. Those kind of things should never come out publicly because they come off as corny as fuck. And by the way, they come off as arrogant. And it also makes you look a little cheesy and naive, too, about what life is. Life is fleeting. You're here, you have a good time, you're gone. That's how it is. What you think is a significant thing isn't going to be so significant 200 years from now, unless you're fucking George Washington. And I can guarantee you fucking Greg Berhalter's not George fucking Washington or Abe Lincoln. All right? So anyhow.
I mean, ultimately, what's the purpose of it all? I mean, it's inside Berhalter's leadership quest where he fails as a leader, basically. Yeah. Because he runs his mouth on a story that he thinks may be fitting, but doesn't take into consideration that everything is on the record. So it doesn't matter.
And to use some of the language that's used in this article, like the ones we just read, and pretend it's something fucking profound and deep. Are you fucking kidding me? That's about as deep as the fucking shallow end of the goddamn kindergartner's pool. Like, you really want to talk? And then they're talking about Nietzsche, and I don't know, they mentioned other philosophers, Kierkegaard. I can't remember. I'm like, come on. In how deep of a level are you really getting into that? I'd really be interested. Love to be a fly on the wall in those fucking discussions.
I mean, it was a pretty deep conversation, man. Again, it's a long.
It was so deep. At one point, they were supposed to go out on the boat together, but their conversation was so amazingly deep and life changing. They stayed up all night together talking. Instead, Brett, it's like they were falling in love. Yeah, they don't say that in the article, but it was. This kind of article, it just doesn't do it for me.
Well, it's also like, what, 4 months old?
Yeah, but it's all about, it's about putting the baby powder back on Greg's butt and saying, look, it's all fresh and new. It doesn't stink at all. It doesn't stink at all. And, hey, he's a real philosopher, this guy. He's a real thinker. Well, I don't think so. A guy that wouldn't, he might think he's a thinker, but a thinker really projects himself in a much better way, in a much more comfortable way. Somebody who's comfortable in their skin speaks comfortably and doesn't have to lie, right? He lied a lot to us in this time period. And he did a very bad job of it, too. It was very obvious. Like, everybody caught him. So this is not somebody who's comfortable in their skin. This isn't some guru. But Greg's not a guru. Stop making him out to be one. Or as they say in England, a guru. I don't like the way they pronounce that in England. I hate that. There's even a song by a good band.
You and color favorite. Come on.
Basil. Herbs.
Yeah.
Herbs. Yep. Because there's a fucking H in it. All right. Let's move on. That's enough, Greg, for one night. Makes me sick.
What about hungry? Are you hungry, Derek?
No, I ate right before the show.
Well, that's good. Well, then you're probably not interested in a ham sandwich.
No, that's why I used that. I thought we need to get away from cupcakes for a while. I mean, I think we were starting to denigrate Twinkies and cupcakes. Twinkies with Landon Donovan and the cupcakes with Camp Cupcake. And I think we'll just move to a ham sandwich.
We also did Camp Strudel this year.
We did strudel. I want to get away from pastries in general and get onto something a little
packing on a couple pounds, huh?
Yeah, still simple, but a little cheesy. All right. So what do we got here? We got me.
I'm trying to sing to you, like, man. Anyways, but what is it? What is this cup called?
The Classico?
The Classico or El Clasico or whatever. How many El Clasicos are there going to be? There were like 500 of them.
I think Pete put it. It was tacked. He said it's actually El Clasico. Yeah. I don't know how much money. I don't know how much money they're going to make because not even the Mexican teams are not releasing their best players either. So
they're not releasing their best American players either. Apparently, Club America politely declined the call for Sunday House.
He got his nose smashed in. So
fair enough, but isn't he still playing for Club America?
Yeah,
it's rocking a mask or whatever.
We'll see because he hasn't played since he got his face smashed in. So we'll see. I
would have politely said no as well because why would you opt to even release him?
Well, yeah, this is a meaningless game.
Yeah.
I mean, and none of these guys, well, a lot of these guys are not guys that, in 2026, Zendejas is going to be playing with anyhow on the pitch because most of these people are not going to make that team who are in this lineup.
You don't say.
You don't say.
Don't say. Adam Wiggins wanted to point out just to remind Mexico the current head-to-head record for the last 5 matches. 0-0. That's good. That's good. 2-0.
Yeah, and it's
he actually gave him one. I didn't realize that. Ignore that. That never happened.
It's okay to rub it in, I suppose, but do keep in mind that this game is a ham sandwich. And it's nothing worth fighting over.
Nom.
Maybe the pickles on top, but that's about it.
It was a freshly cooked turkey sandwich.
Yeah, you and your fucking turkeys. God damn it. We didn't get into this discussion because Brett buys like 80 turkeys and freezes them over after Thanksgiving.
Between Thanksgiving and Christmas, the turkeys are like $6 to $8 for like an 18 to 20 pound bird. Fuck it, I got a deep freeze.
Dude, but you eat turkey the whole fucking year.
Throughout the year, yes. Not every fucking day of the year.
Yeah, but at least 2 or 3 times a week.
Well, I mean, I'll eat the turkey. I'll eat the breast and everything like that separate with sandwiches and various things like that. And then I keep the dark meat for the soup, and then I make turkey vegetable soup. And it's I do eat that one turkey for almost a month.
Well, I do like the fact that you're diverse. You like the breast and the dark meat.
I'm not prejudiced in any manner. I'll eat.
All right.
I'll eat whatever.
I know you make soup out of it, enchiladas, probably sandwiches,
whatever the meat can go with. Yeah. But the dark meat specifically for the soups because it just adds a nice little bit. The dark meat adds a nice little grease to the soup itself.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I made a
cook down those bones.
I made a tonkatsu this weekend because I made ribs. What I did was slow bubble the rack of ribs in a pot for, I don't know, 5-6 hours on a really low heat. And that shit just started falling off the bones. That's when you take it out and put the sauce on it and you put it underneath the high heat in the broiler, right? And you get that nice sear on both sides. But then I took the water that was in and kept reducing it down, adding different Chinese spices and whatever, and I reduced it down. And it's like the
Chinese secret.
It's an amazing broth. It really is. And I put it in a big bucket, and then a big bucket. Yeah, not a real...
82 people in the chat. I think only Derek might get that reference.
What?
Ancient Chinese secret.
Oh yeah.
What kind of commercial it was?
What kind of meat is Spam? It's pork.
It's questionable, is what it is.
Yeah, it's in a can.
Who knows what pink puree they put in that can?
Yeah, I mean, they really like it in Hawaii. It's like a staple there because during World War II is when Spam was first made and canned, or was it World War I? In other words, it was a good canned food that would last a long time. You could send overseas and the troops could fry it up real quick in a pan and eat it. So, favorite turkey preparation style?
Real quick, Berlin does say Spam is seasoned rat.
Yeah, it could be some rat parts in there.
So
who knows?
For the most of the time, I cook it in the oven. Season it, throw some some bacon and butter mixed together underneath the skin, and just cook it like that. But the way I generally would like to eat it would be slow cooked in the Traeger. I mean that's something you have to plan for, though. We've deep fried a couple turkeys in our time.
Now that's where I'm going.
It's delicious. It's also a mess, and you have to take care of it.
It's a big mess, but it is my preferred way. I like it fried. Well, what we do is we get it nice and crispy. Yep. We pull it out of the fryer. We re-herb it, right? When the skin's crispy, then we put it in the oven for a very short while, so all the nice little spices can get in there too into the skin. Nice. So when you're pulling the skin off, it's like not just the skin; it's got the spices on it too.
Very nice. No, I never thought about that.
Fry, and then bake. All right.
You're not the first person that said that.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. There's Ray Romano and Kermit the Frog, and it's as if the two have met. Yeah, come together. All right, let's get on to some real topics here in our end. Well, we covered a lot of soccer topics already, so it's not like I know we bullshit.
We're into the ham sandwich talk. Let's talk soccer.
Yeah, okay. Soccer. As we go through these players, one thing I want to consider are the three categories of which these players fit into, and all of them fit into one. You're either a future A-team player, or you're a possible A-team player. That means we haven't given up on you becoming an A-team player, or you're never really ever going to be an A-team player. But so the question is, why are you on this team? Because if you're not going to be an A-team player, then you shouldn't probably be here at all, because you're wasting a spot for somebody who could be coming in and getting their first looks. All right, so let's start at the top, right? We got Drake Callender. He's named after a duck, right? A male duck is a Drake.
Or a rapper, one of the two.
I like that name.
Rapping hip hop, I guess.
He started off hot this season, and so did Inter Miami, but things not going so well again now. So, but I know that his manager has been hammering Hudson's door, saying you got to give this guy a look. He's really, 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 really good. And I guess since the coach is English, I guess you got to listen to him.
It's kind of funny because there's a number of MLS teams that are actively telling USSF no when they come knocking.
There are
not
some
all across the board, but some players.
Well, we know some of them. We know, for instance, why Robinson is on here, Miles Robinson, because the deal was we get him for the important games, but you don't get him for that meaningless ham sandwich cup. And so that was the deal. And then we got Celentano. Let's face it, I don't think Celentano or Calendar are going to play in this game. It's going to be this is Sean Johnson. That's what we're going with here.
I personally would like to see Celentano. You represent Hoosiers. Ooh. And so plus he's a damn good. He's a pretty damn good goalkeeper. I haven't actually seen him do anything else besides that, but
yeah, well, he's on a pretty decent team that used to score a lot of goals from this guy named Vasquez.
Hey, first time! Look at that.
I know, look at that.
You've been practicing.
Although I know somebody named Debbie Vasquez.
You tell her that she pronounced her own name wrong?
I didn't, but I did tell her at one point. I said, that's not how the guy on Cincinnati pronounces. He's like, yeah, I think ours has been changed at some point. I don't know. She's very Americanized. Q for Derek. Which two fruits are the only two that are anagrams? Two fruits. You're going to have to help me with this, Brett. You know two fruits that are anagrams? No,
What if you just refer to how little kids refer to nanas?
Well, then they are, but...
Not even that, actually.
No, that doesn't work either. All right, I'm lost. Help us out. Selma R. Soul. No. All right, Dest is on here because AC Milan refused.
I've got nowhere else to go.
Yes, good reference, officer and a gentleman. AC Milan doesn't even acknowledge that Dest exists at this point. So,
bro, where's Dest at? Oh, he got called by the national team. Is it a FIFA window? No.
Yeah. I mean, I heard he didn't even have to ask for approval. He just got on a plane and left, and they didn't even notice. All right, Aaron Long. Why the fuck is Aaron Long here?
So I'm looking at this roster, and I see a swath of players that probably might not get another chance in this situation. But I think Hudson wants to have a core of players that are familiar, at least over the past couple of years. So there are a couple of them, especially here in the defense, that fit that category. Why is Aaron Long there? Because he's been there for the past couple of years.
We already have Walker Zimmerman there to be that dude. We do not need Long there to hold his fucking nutsack while he does it. That's why this is stupid.
Well, and especially Zimmerman, we have Miazga there too. So why do we need Long there?
Exactly. Long is unnecessary. Go find, I don't care who. Find somebody else who wants to play center back that you haven't had a chance to look at. And give them a shot to ride Pine for 90.
Bring it. Yeah, I was gonna say, bring in some of the young, the U20s. What's his face? Craig from Philly,
from Philadelphia.
Let's bring him in. And at least then we could have somebody who could take a fucking corner kick.
Yeah, but he wouldn't play if he came in. But at least you could get him.
Subbing Craig.
You're giving him practice with the sort of middle range boy team, right? Mm-hmm. And that gives Craig more confidence. Maybe he'll finally get to start in Philadelphia some season. I don't know when, but excuse me. So yeah, I really don't get this Long thing. That was really disappointing. He fits into the category of he's not an A-team player. He will never be an A-team player again. His time has passed him by. He's not having what I would consider to be even an acceptable season at LAG. Jalen Neal would have been a great call-up, but I guess somebody mentioned that the team wouldn't let Jalen go. So
they took Long instead.
Yeah. I mean,
wait, is Long at Galaxy or is he at LAFC?
LAG.
He's LAFC. He's what?
I thought he said LA.
It's right there. It's LAFC.
LAFC, yeah, it's right in our screen. That's right, because he didn't even start the first game. It was your Italian boy started. The old man, yeah. Okay, so Julian Gressel. They called up the wrong German guy. They could have given Timothy Tillman a call, but I mean, he's not a defender.
Yes, we're talking about defenders right now. Yeah.
But certainly there's some other defender out there we could have called up. There has to be. You could have made one up. Bring DeJuan Jones back, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Julian Gressel's going to be 32, 33 years old to World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, this screams, hey, you put in your time to finally get your citizenship or whatever. Here you go, buddy.
Is that what we're doing now?
It must be.
God, then why don't we call Eli Sanchez up then, if that's the case? He finally got his.
Hey.
Matt Miazga is back. We already talked about him. I'm happy to see him back. He's one of the best defenders in MLS for the past 2 seasons. And
well, season and a half. Not even a full season at this point yet.
Well, I know, but wasn't he one of the best center backs last season, even though he wasn't here for the whole season? I think he was.
Dude. He had a much better second. Oh, he only the second half, but he had a much better second half than Zimmerman had.
Yes, he did. He was better than Zimmerman and Long by a fucking long shot. And it's about time he's back on this team. And I don't blame him for a second for being a bit irritated about it.
Mm-hmm.
Shaq Moore. Again, is there nobody else? I understand that Shaq Moore's having a decent season at Nashville. I don't know. I just looked at that and went, oh, God, not again. He was the worst player in the World Cup. Our worst fucking player. Our worst performance. And here he is. I guess it's some experience. I just don't know why he's here. I guess we don't have a lot of fucking right backs, left backs floating around the MLS. But
besides Dest and Yedlin.
I mean, Yedlin's having a fucking atrocious season. All right.
Like I said, I think half this roster is just people who Berhalter and Hudson had called up over the last couple of years. So you just bring in what's familiar here, not necessarily picking who's doing well. Because we're going to get into the midfields, and that's questionable at the best. But let's finish up defenders, I guess.
And Walker Zimmerman, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm fine.
Well,
in fact, I hope it's Zim and Matt who start, and then probably be Dest on the left, maybe, and Yedlin on the right. That'd be my guess.
Yeah.
And
who else do we have on the left? Is who else is left here?
I think Winder can play on the no. Caleb Wiley can play on the left.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to see some Caleb Wiley, frankly, but I'm just telling you what I think they're going to do. And I think it's going to be Dustin Yedlin and Miazga. God help me if it's fucking long, dude. If it's long in Miazga, I don't know. Fucking throwing a shoe.
Expect a long Twitter post.
Yeah. Irritable old man post.
Yelling at clouds. Yep.
Kellen Acosta, LAFC. Well, yeah, until somebody usurps him. And would have been nice to see Williamson here, but then he just fucking totally absolutely he blew up his left testicle, pulled every ligament in it. And I heard it was
testicle, yeah. It's long ligaments.
Yeah, I heard his nutsack was hanging down to his knees. That's how bad the pull was. So anyhow, no Williamson. Aiden Morris, I'm fine with.
Mm-hmm.
Aiden Morris is having a good season with Columbus. I'm totally fine with it. Roldan is back again. I understand he is having.
Jumping back to Aiden real quick. I hope he has a more impressive window this time around. I thought he was okay last window, but everybody was hyping him up so much.
He looked a little bit like
new kid on the block,
a virgin. Yeah, like his first time playing.
Yeah,
So we'll see if he. But you know what? I'm still worried about him moving the ball around more quickly. Like he's still with Columbus. He gets that time, right, to dilly-dally on the ball. And of course, this is not going to be the best Mexican team, so he might get to dilly-dally around some more. But
I love the chat sometimes, just watching as we're talking soccer stuff. I don't know who he's talking about, quite frankly. Long, probably, maybe. I don't know.
I think he's
Frere. Sorry, this is Frere. I think basically, I think he's interested. He just got offered a ton of money to stay as a DP, and then it's like,
no.
Can we say DP here?
Yes, you can.
And then Jeff says it means something different here.
Yeah,
you're sitting here going off talking about Roldan. Why is Roldan here? And I'm sitting here laughing my ass off because I'm reading the chat.
Well, you're asking somebody's making the point that Ferreira got a bunch of other offers to go abroad, and I can tell you that's not true. He didn't. So I think making the assumption that he did is something you need to think about, because that's not true. That was not the case. Is he getting paid a healthy sum in MLS? Sure. But Aiden Morris did admit he had a rough
I kind of like
camp.
him a little more now, actually.
I like guys who can stand up and say,
hey,
yeah,
not
I
my
fucked
best
up.
play. I'll do better next time. That's great. I like him a little more now.
I do too. Christian Roldan has had a good season with the Sounders, so I guess they had to continue to give him a reach around. James Sands, I don't understand this at all.
I kind of do. I mean, obviously,
why?
He flunked out of Scotland, yes. But he's come back to
flunked
MLS.
out of Scotland.
He's come back to MLS and he's been doing quite well for New York.
No, he hasn't. He's been doing okay. You know who's doing really well for New York?
Don't you say him?
Yeah, Keaton Parks.
No, he hasn't.
Yes, he has.
No, he hasn't.
He's had a fine season. Yeah, absolutely.
Jesus Christ. I will respectfully disagree with you on this one.
You watched one game and you're.
I've watched more than one game of New York.
All right. Well, I'm sorry.
But I'll respectfully disagree with you on this one.
So you think Parks?
I think Parks has had equally bad as good games so far this season.
I don't think that Sands provides really anything.
I don't disagree with you on this. No. I think Sands has stood out in New York since returning.
Okay, but here's the problem. You've got Kellen Acosta, CDM. Yeah. Nope. You've got Aiden Morris.
He's an 8. Nope, Sands is going to play CDM.
No. Listen. No, just hold the fuck up. Hold the fucking phone here, all right? We've got Kellen Acosta's a natural 6. Aiden Morris, natural 6.
Sure.
James Sands, natural 6.
Sure.
Jackson Yueill, natural 6. And why the fuck that slump is on this team, I don't even understand.
I was in contention here.
You're telling me that one of those guys couldn't be replaced by Keaton Parks or Atencio? It's from Seattle? Maybe Seattle's like, hey, you only get 2. You can have Morris, and you can have Moreland.
I would like to see Keaton Parks just because he hasn't had a call up.
No, he hasn't
since coming to MLS. Kid might as well just knuckled under and stayed in Europe and fought there, because clearly he didn't get shit coming back here.
Have you seen Atencio play this season? He's had some really, really good games. I don't know why we don't put him on there.
With Seattle?
Yes.
No, I haven't watched Seattle play.
He's a young kid. Take this Jackson Yueill fucker off and kick him off a cliff and put Atencio in there. Hell, I'll take Ledesma just for some goddamn creativity.
So to my point I was making earlier, Kellen Acosta is not playing the 6 in this lineup. He's going to play the 8. But to your point and to Pete's
point, what do you think we're playing? We're playing the 4-2-3-1. We're done playing the 4-3-3.
Well, I'm looking at this lineup and I see 40. I guess that's maybe why we see 42 sixes.
Yes, exactly. I mean, if he's not playing a 4-2-3-1, this is the worst set of fucking midfielders I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I mean, Kellen Acosta's played the 8 more so than the 6 under Berhalter, so it's possible. No, I agree with you. I agree with you in this. Yes, if he's going to stick to his guns and continue with the 4-2-3-1, that makes sense with all the fucking 6s we have here. Although I think 3 would have sufficed. I don't think we needed 2. I think 2 would have been fine. But Pete had made a comment. He goes, "Man, looking at this team, I see a creative black hole in that midfield." I'm paraphrasing him, of course. He said something completely different, but that's what he's alluding to. Is that
he's
we've
right.
got no creativity at all. But
Alan Sonora's the only creative one, and guess what? He doesn't even play for Juarez. So he's been riding on since he got there, along with his brother and along with that other American center back who tried it at Miami and couldn't make it. Can't remember his name all of a sudden.
Has Ledesma played since he's come to where's that? New York? Did he go to New York?
I believe so. He has played.
I haven't seen him play yet. I haven't heard of him playing yet.
I haven't.
I didn't see. I saw an interesting lineup where instead of worrying about an offensive midfielder, they played Ferreira at the 10.
Okay. Well, at least that's a more natural position for Ferreira.
Exactly. Yeah. Look at that.
So
good work.
We've already established who the back 2 are. Who are your 2 in the midfield? The 2 holding.
Oh, the 2 holding.
Acosta and whom?
I would probably. I'm assuming Sands, but I would like to see Morris.
I'd
like to see Morris again, especially after admitting fault last window.
I think it'll be Acosta and Morris as the two holding mids.
Okay, I guess if I have to make a guess, I'm going to go Acosta Sands.
Oh, God, I hope you're wrong.
I hope I'm wrong too.
I really
like
hope
to see
you're
Morris.
wrong. Yeah. I'd rather see Morris. We know what Sands can do at this point.
Sure.
Aiden Morris, to be clear, has a real chance if he continues to grow. He's a young player to maybe go overseas later, but we already know that's not the case for Jackson Yueill and James Sands, who couldn't make it on the best team in Scotland playing against some of the shittiest teams in Europe.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The worst teams at the bottom of the Scottish table weren't even enough to make him look good.
I want to bring this up real quick. News just broke.
This is from Fabrizio. The plan won't change. AC Milan will not trigger their buy option. No shit. No kidding. U.S. men's national team fullback will be on his way back to Barcelona. And by the way, Barcelona already put an announcement out today that they have no interest in him, and they will be sending him out. In fact, the rumor was that they were going to. So Wolves were apparently after Dest, but now they're sulking because they just understood that Barca want to do they want to get Yannick Carrasco from Atletico Madrid. In order to do that, they're going to have to not only pay up money, but also give them a player. So they're going to give up money for Yannick Carrasco. They're going to pay like 13, 14 million for Carrasco and Dest. They're going to give him 13 million in Dest. And that's the swap that's supposed to happen between Atletico and Barca. We'll see if it happens, but anywhere but Barcelona, Dest. And you know what? Maybe it's time that Dest just goes and says, listen, all you motherfuckers trying to make me a right back, just please stop and let me play right midfield or right winger. Stop playing me at fucking right back. I am obviously too much asleep to play defense. I just want to play offense. That's me. I'm Serginho. I like offense.
Maybe at this point he needs to start looking for a low table team or mid table team in a Big Five, or even branch down to a mid table team in a league like go back to Holland.
If you're Atletico Madrid and you just watch what you watch at AC Milan and then you watch what you watch at Barcelona, are you of any interest at all at Serginho Dest at this
I wouldn't
point?
possibly look at Atletico Madrid. My goodness, I can't speak. Atletico Madrid. There we go. Words.
They're not going to want him. That's crazy.
No.
Crazy talk. Listen, two teams just took risks on him. Barcelona and AC Milan, they both have just pretended he doesn't exist now.
I don't know if Barcelona is much of a risk. I mean, he was a consistent starter at Ajax. At that point, it's not a risk. It's like, hey, here's a player that's doing well at Ajax. Let's bring him on, and he didn't pan out. Shit happens. AC Milan was the risk since he sat for like half a year or more.
They've been shitting on Dest at Barcelona from the fucking second game he played. They were shitting on him. The fans, the press, the media, his coaches. Well, not the
coach at the time played him for his first year. He played.
Not the original coach. All the other coaches since.
So gotcha.
All right. Let's move on to the forwards. Paul, the hustle Areola. Again,
no
I'm not. It isn't a surprise, but really, we can't come up with anybody else.
Chris Mueller is available. We could have brought him.
Nah, you don't really know Chris Mueller.
I wouldn't bring him either.
God, there's got to be somebody else who can play fucking on the wing that plays in MLS that is young, getting started. Oh, wait a minute. What about Gio Caccini?
Oh, yeah. I forgot Gio Caccini.
He's not doing so bad at Nashville. Why don't we bring him back in and give him a look-see? He's still young. Paul Areola is not young anymore. And we already know what he can do and what he brings. Let's go with somebody else. Maybe I'm open for it at this point, Jasper. I just don't want to see Paul Areola anymore. I don't need to. Maybe Hudson likes him. I'll around. I don't understand it, frankly. Cal,
I'll say when it comes to Gutierrez, if Gutierrez, he benefits whenever Chicago integrates him in with the team. Like this last week, he was pretty much a ghost for most of the game. because the ball basically went around him, never got to him. Once Chicago gave him the ball, things happened a little bit more. Mind you, we ended up winning regardless. It doesn't matter. But Guti's having a pretty solid season now, especially at the 10 role. But he can't have those games where he disappears because that hurts.
Yeah.
For us, at least. Because, this is our year to make the playoffs again, Derek.
Yeah, right. Good luck on that.
That's all I want. I'm not even talking about anything else. Like Open Cup, fuck that. I just want to make the playoffs at this point.
Since I haven't watched a single Chicago Fire game this year, any questions about Chicago players should just be automatically go to you, because you've watched the games. Cade Cowell, I'm glad to see him here.
After this last window, yeah. I mean, we obviously hit up on him hard during the U20 qualifications.
The first one, yeah.
The entire cup, actually.
It was not good.
Wasn't good at all.
No.
But no,
he's trying too hard.
Yeah. His last window with the U.S. national team, though, was completely different.
Yeah.
Completely
different. Probably the best offensive player we had on the pitch.
I would think so, yeah.
And then Jesus Ferreira, probably might as well move him back into the midfielder section because he's going to play, if we do play the 4-2-3-1, he'll probably play as the the second striker / CAM.
Ultimately what Reyna played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to, frankly, see Jordan Morris start as the center forward because he's been doing it for Seattle all season. Mm-hmm. And by the way, he's scoring goals, for fun right now for Seattle. So he's actually
in a game.
He actually gets upset when he doesn't score, which he didn't used to really.
Fair enough. I mean, when you start pocketing goals like crazy and then you miss one, then you're gonna get pissed that you didn't put that away. You're like, fuck.
Well, I think he had one the game before the last, or was it last? Anyhow, and he was offsides apparently. I don't know how. I guess he was, and so he would have had another one. But yeah, I'd like to see that because Brandon Vasquez is basically playing like shit on a stick right now this season.
Hopefully last season was not a one-season wonder,
Because that's what everybody said, right? Everybody's like, he's got to do it again.
Yeah.
He's got to replicate this. In fact, he's got to replicate it or make it better. Or else you're going to have teams like Gladbach come over and watch you play and go, meh.
There are so many teams in Europe that are keeping an eye on him.
Well, Gladbach actually sent a coach over to watch him play.
Yeah.
And he did not have a great game. So, I don't know. It's like shit or get off the pot at this point, Brandon. You're going to have to make some noise, maybe score again for the team, for US.
Yeah, he's got 1 goal and 1 assist in 7 games so far.
Yeah. It's been rough.
Not bagging like he used to.
No. And he's missed some too. He's missed some sitters. He's missed some good opportunities. So it's not like it's just like.
Talking about Vasquez, he's 24. I just saw, if I believe correctly. Double check that again. Yeah, he's 24. Okay. Assuming that's who you're talking about. Could be anything.
Yeah, he's no young pup. So it's now. You got to make it happen now if you want to make 2026. At least they're giving him a shot here.
He's talking about Jokic.
Yeah, he's still relatively young. 22 is fine. But I did notice he came to MLS and he dropped off the planet. Now, he had already sort of dropped off the planet when he went to Ligue 1 Montpellier, right? He went to Montpellier and he disappeared. He got more minutes actually with Montpellier than he did with his team in
the problem with him is that he fell off. I mean, after the last Gold Cup, he fell off of most people's radar because he was getting such limited playing time anywhere he went. Now he's in MLS and he's just falling off more people's radar. Not saying that he's not playing well. I actually haven't seen him play.
I've only seen him play once,
so I don't know how well he's actually doing. But
I mean, but based on the one game I saw, you would think that he was really great, and so was Indiana Vasilev. So take it with a grain of salt. I watched both of those two have really good games, and then I'm thinking, wow, these guys are really good, but I haven't seen the rest of the game, so I don't know.
So I think at this point, he's fallen off so many of the common fans' radars, and it's going to require a game like this game for him to get brought back into the fold. But I don't see his name anywhere. So.
Can I make a request though for MLS? Can you please spread the fucking games out a little more on the weekend?
So it's funny. It's funny because this conversation comes up every fucking week, and Lawless has to say, "Well, I think it's Apple and MLS trying to do a branding thing, like trying to take Saturday and make that it's Saturday, it's MLS Day instead of like football Sunday, type of thing."
All the games started at 7:30 and 10:30.
There's a couple of them that are like a 3:30 and then at 4:30, but then the bulk of them are all at 7:30.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. I missed the earlier ones, but
my issue is spread them out a little bit more. Like have a different day because I would watch more games, but I'm like I'm not going to bother at this point going back and watching a game because
here's an idea: do 2:30 have a slate of games, 4:30 have a slate of games, 7:30 have a slate of games, 9:30 have a slate of games, 4 slates of games. Yeah. Spread that shit out because, by the way, you can't get playback. You can't go back and play the games on Apple Plus.
That's why I haven't gone back and watched any games.
Well, I tried. I wanted to go back and watch the games. You can only watch the highlights. Hey, if somebody out there knows how you can rewatch games on Apple Plus, let me know because I can't do it on my TV. I can't figure out where to go to make that happen. Anyhow. That's ridiculous. You pay for this package. You should be able to go back and watch a game you missed, right?
Yeah.
Especially when they're playing like 15 games at the fucking same time, and there's 3 games you want to watch, and you have to pick one and live with it. Well, then you missed the 2 good ones you wanted to watch, ended up being the good games, and then you can't go back and watch them. That's fucking stupid. All right. Okay. So that is. Do you have any final takes on this, Brad?
Who do you have on the wings, actually? We talked. You said you wanted Morris.
All right. So Morris, top. I want down the middle.
Frere at the 10.
Yep. I guess we don't have any choice but to play Yueill and Cal out wide. You really don't have any other choice.
Yeah, because you're pulling Morris out. Because looking at that, it leaves. If you put Morris up top as a center striker, you're limiting yourself to just Yueill and Cal at that point.
Yep. And so maybe we're not going to play a 4-2-3-1. I don't know. We'll see. But we didn't bring a whole lot of wingers.
If we don't play a 4-2-3-1, that means that Morris is not going to play as a center striker regardless. Because at that point, Ferreira will probably start.
I suppose Christian Roldan could play one of those wide roles. He does it for Seattle on occasion.
He could.
But I really don't see it. I see Yueill, Cal, and then I'd like to see Morris start up top, and then with Ferreira tucked in behind him. And there you go. And then bring Vasquez in with on the 70-minute mark or something. Give him the last 20 or something like that. Because I do want to see him. I want to see him get a chance. All right. Well, that's all I got on this, really, Brett. I mean, there's no point on pontificating about this any longer. It's a meaningless, for the most part, game. We're going to try to get or cull as much as we can from the game. Look at performances, and hopefully
that's it.
By assessing
the Continental Classico, that's what it's called.
The Continental Classico. Yeah. All right.
Someone was asking you to say cunt earlier.
Why isn't cunt in the table of contents? You tell me. All right. What else we got? Is that it? We done?
Just our tweets. We'll do our tweets quick, and then we're done.
All right. We might actually have a fucking night where we're not here until goddamn 10:30. I already see the hype job and WWE narratives for the Continental Classico. MLS versus MX Plus. Euro players hated by their clubs. MX Plus Euro players hated by their
MLS versus Mexico Plus.
Dest.
Yeah.
Yes. They just need a draw, and they can say these guys played as well as USA did 1-0 versus El Salvador. You really thought they would let the U.S. men's national team be one MLS player? Yeah. They don't have much choice here. No. This is just an MLS window. Yeah. It's just an MLS window, period. And maybe you could argue, well, I'd rather them not play at all. But I would also argue, well, I'd be fine with them playing as long as you were testing out more than just a small handful of new guys getting a chance here. I'm fine that there are a handful of them on here, but I would have liked more. Shit, I wouldn't even mind watching Pomacall one more time, and see if he could get better from the last game, because he had an atrocious game, right? Maybe that's just the reason not to bring him on. I don't know.
Well, I may have to come back to this question later. This looks like something we'll have to dig into. It's a quote tweet within a quote tweet within probably the original topic itself.
Okay. Would have liked to see some of the youngsters get a shot, but meaningless game, so not going to complain about the roster. Well, we are, Chambers.
Yeah.
Just happy I got free tickets. Oh, cool. To the CONCACAF Champions League game for Philly versus LAFC. Should be a fun time. Subaru Stadium is amazing if you get a chance to go. Yeah, that should be one hell of a game, and we're sort of guaranteed that somebody's going to make the finals, right? In MLS from MLS, so that's kind of cool. Eating loads of what, Desi? What are you eating loads of? I thought Yueill's days were done. God, so did we. I can't wait to watch this piss party of a camp. He's not going to play, so Yueill's not going to get to play.
He'll get subbed in.
You think he'll get like 15, 10 minutes?
Yeah, it happened during Camp Cupcake. He got brought in for 15 minutes. We're saying why are you bringing you?
You know what? I don't have anything personal against Yueill. In fact, during the Olympic qualifiers, he was the best player on the fucking team, and we said so. We said that was an atrocious team.
I actually defended Yueill for the next month or two of call-ups, and then at some point I was just like, yeah, this has got to end.
Yeah, but you know what? When he was the only standout during that Olympic, we said so.
Didn't Yueill have the fucking 30-yard goal against Honduras?
Yeah,
that was a nice shot.
It was a nice shot, but he was the only one who came to play for Jason Christ. Nobody else came and played for him. So, and then he picked the most unskilled midfielders we possibly could have brought.
Well, and again, it was another midfielder that was void of creativity.
Yeah, absolutely void of skill. I mean, it's like he put out.
Hustle.
Listen, I would just tell Jason, you can't play 3 Kyle Beckermans in the midfield. It just doesn't work that way, dude. Not that Kyle Beckerman didn't have skills, because he did. Like he could make an occasional through pass, but it wasn't really his bag, What else we got? Chris Gary, to say I couldn't care less about this shit Sunday is an understatement. El Cachico, is the game on Sunday this week? No, it's not. No, it's like 6 days from now, isn't it?
We're seeing Sunday.
This shit Sunday. Oh, Sunday is in the ice cream. Okay, my bad.
I was like, what?
I thought he was doing a play on words or something.
Yeah.
El Cachico is a great name for it. However, I don't expect much cash from it. No, there won't be, because the stadium will be mostly empty. He's right. And American El Tree fans see this camp as a waste of time. Yeah, they do as well. I'm not going to watch out of protest. I'm going to watch because, well, I kind of have to.
Content. It's content.
Content.
Yeah, content.
Bingo. Somebody has bingo already.
Chris said it earlier. Yeah, there you go.
So somebody's got bingo. Okay.
Here it is.
Let's see how Chris did.
Brett swears. That's a guarantee.
Well, that's, jerking off.
Jerking off, yeah. We talked now.
Free space.
We play a 10. And Derek says cunt.
Cunt. I said it. No. Actually, it doesn't count if I said it within the word context and content. And table of contents.
Sorry.
Does that count?
LAFC Galaxy games on Sunday.
Do I count? Does that count, Brett?
What? You said cunt a number of times.
I said content.
And then I said people have been trying to make you say cunt for a while.
So I did say cunt then.
You said cunt, I said cunt, we all said cunt.
On its own. I said cunt all by itself, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, what is Derek drinking? You forgot that one, but Derek never mentioned Ream once.
I didn't. But yeah, you could have crossed off what I'm drinking.
Derek and Brett argue. We kind of argue. We kind of had a shut the fuck up. Heavy talk. Something about balls. We talked about balls. We talked about Williamson and his balls dropping down to his knees.
We did. Yep. Pulling his testicle. A pull in his testicle. So Jizz Talk, I'm pretty sure that came up at
That
some
came
point.
up too, yeah.
I don't think we said Jizz.
We didn't say Pulisic was a virgin. Who we talked about? Aiden Morris, that's right.
No, that was just a metaphor. With Pulisic, it's literal. Okay. All right. I think we're done for the night, guys. It was a fun night. It was a good night. It was a quick night. Consider it a quickie. Although I think
Well,
most
an hour
of
and
us,
40 minutes.
hour and 40 minutes isn't exactly a quickie. That's more like a 10, 15, 20-minute thing, right?
Derek's been practicing his tantric, so.
Tantra. My water? What am I
What is the art of prolonging sex? It's
thinking of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day.
I never really had that issue. I'll be really honest with you. Even my very first time, and I was early 16, and my girlfriend was Jessica Drum. This was in high school, in Carlisle High School. I had drank way too much Jim Beam or Jack Daniels, and I don't remember what it was. And in fact, during the act, I had to get up, leave, and puke, brush my teeth, and go back to work. But I could not get the feeling because I was so drunk. It was horrible. It's right. Horrible experience. My first time was just bad because I was so fucked up. The whole room was spinning. Like, that's when you just overdo it. But we tried again, and we got it right the second time. The philosophy includes several breathing, yoga, meditation that can increase sexual energy. Yeah. So that is what? It doesn't say what the definition.
It's tantric.
It says tantric techniques, but it doesn't give the definition. Nope, it still does not give a definition of tantric.
Tantric sex is based. This is brand new for the show, but basically, it's things you can do during sex to prolong sex, and the most famous one talks about Sting and is 4-hour lovemaking sessions.
I've done that before. I mean, I'm not bragging either because I don't think 4 hours is really. I mean, that's got to be a slow go. You got to take it easy. That means some very light, a slow build, right? A slow build, a very slow and just very touchy feely.
I mean, I think 4 hours consists of you having to chop up the strawberries and
no. I'm talking about
massage oils ready, and then
none of that
putting on Netflix and watching a movie.
None of that counts.
7 minutes later, you're finished.
Nope, none of that. None of that counts. So it's well, all right. We shouldn't probably talk about this. More girls' names will come up, and I might get in trouble down the line. All right, guys, we appreciate you coming on, and that did come out right. For joining us on the show.
Coming on the show, guys.
Right, and make sure you like, subscribe, share it with a great aunt, and don't do what Gerard Depardieu has been accused of, which was also in the news today, and that is of sexually assaulting 13 women. That's uncool. He was a great actor. It's too bad that now he's got that. You don't even know who Gerard Depardieu is.
Is he? I'm gonna.
He's the French guy
French
where he's
from like
French. Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
90s.
Yeah.
Did that movie with the passport, where he was trying to earn his passport. Green Card was the name of the movie. Green Card. He also played
Three Musketeers. Thank you. Yes, that guy, Man in the Iron Mask. Exactly. That's what I was thinking of.
Yep, there's another one. He also played in a very great French movie with subtitles called Danton. If you've never seen Danton, Danton, it's a history movie about the reign of terror.
There it was. That was the other one. My Father the Hero.
Yep. I mean, he's a great actor. I hope these accusations are true. But when 13 women come forward, the numbers start to stack up, and you're like, God, that looks pretty bad.
This is very oddly specific. And there's a comic book author, like a writer, who very well known had a website early on in the internet era where he had not groupies per se, because I don't think there's any sex play at all, but basically he had a lot of people who really liked him a lot send him butt photos and nude photos and stuff like that. And then cut it 20 years down the road, all of a sudden they're coming out saying like, we were groomed, this was this. I'm like, you were an adult and you actively sent him photos.
Well, then that's bullshit.
Exactly. No, that's my whole point. The long point of this is basically maybe that's what this is. I don't know. I don't know
We don't know that.
I don't know
So
the information behind
now you're
this,
just pulling shit out of your asshole.
That's where it comes from, Derek.
I don't really recommend doing. All right.
I'm just saying maybe it's something along those lines. I'm not saying that's what happened. It's just,
yeah. Until the next time on the Straight Red Card, do not TikTok your bestiality acts. Bad idea. Good night.
But she's a trap. She's an unsung novel. Turn a lap and get your whole world dazzled on the line. Or a phone call with or without wine.
You're gonna do her.
Oh no!